Do you remember a video from a while back where I implemented a bottom sheet in a .NET MAUI application? Well, the author of that plugin is now dropping very subtle hints that I need to make an updated video, so let's go check that out. If you don't remember that video, I highly recommend that you go check it out. The link is down below, or I will link it at the end of the video. There, I implement a bottom sheet with the help of the 49.maui.bottomsheet plugin, which is really amazing, super easy to use, and it works great on Android and iOS. Just add a new page, couple of lines of code, and you have this amazing bottom sheet in your .NET MAUI application. But at the time of recording, which is more than a year ago at this point, it was still an alpha version. So there were a couple of weird things. Now there has been some breaking changes, and I went back to the repository of this plugin because it's all open source, and I noticed that the author had this crazy cool thing in there. I'll show you in a minute when I pull up my screen right here. But I decided to make a new updated video. Also, someone asked me in the meantime, hey, how can I use this in a Blazor hybrid application? So I decided to take that in as well, and you don't always see the handle whenever you're implementing this bottom sheet in the Android application. I'm going to fix that too, so stay tuned for the whole of this video because there's going to be amazing stuff in here. Let's hop over to my screen and get cracking. So here we are at the repository of this amazing plugin, the 49.maui.bottomsheet. I'll link it down below in the video description. A plugin by Paul Varash from London. Thank you so much, Paul, for doing this. If you haven't done so yet, go out and start this repository. I already have, so that Paul knows that you appreciate his work. Okay, so with that out of the way, this is where I had to laugh a little bit because I was going back to this repository. There's now a new version, 8.0.3. I think he might be matching the .NET 8 version. And then here in the README, like the first note is, coming from Gerald's video, make sure to check this section on what has changed since this video was made. I personally thought this was a little bit of a milestone, that it's like I've come to a level where it now says like, hey, did you come from Gerald's video? You should check this out before you ask any questions. So that is what I found really funny. So here you can go and then you can see like, hey, this is since I linked my video, so that's great. Since that video came out, this is what changed, right? So a couple of name changes. Show handle is now has handle, cancelable is now is cancelable, and a couple of those things. Two new properties, and some methods has been renamed to be show and show async, dismiss async, right? So that's all there. I have a repository attached to all of my videos. So I pulled down the repository that was already there that I made for my previous video, again, linked down below in the video description, and I'm going to just update it with this latest version, right? So I'll walk you through all the things there, how to set it up from scratch, and I will update the project right there, and I will add a Blazor hybrid project to it as well, so you can see how that works. So go out to this repository. I don't think you could see the README is very extensive. This is kind of like what we can expect, right? That will show up for a bottom sheet in our application. Looks really cool. And there is a lot to discover here, more than I'm going to show you today. So be sure to check out the README right here. Paul, again, thank you so much. Great stuff. Okay, so let's switch over to Visual Studio. And I already pulled down the repository from my demo app from last time, and it's running here on Android. So again, this was a alpha version, so some weirdness was to be expected, right? That's what happens. And I implemented it, and whenever you click here, the bottom sheet will come up. And this was one of the weird things that was on Android, because the background color didn't really work, and I didn't show the handle, and then you could do it full screen, but there was some weirdness going on. Again, alpha version. So let's just update it now and see what happens. Now, before I want to update, the latest version is on .NET 8. So I need to update my project to .NET 8 first. I haven't really done that. So I'm going to go to my Solution Explorer, open my project file right here. And whenever you do, you can see the target frameworks here all say .NET 7. So let's make that .NET 8, .NET 8. .NET 8, .NET 8, .NET 8, and that is how easy it is to update your .NET MAUI app to .NET 8, right? That's it. You have to have the .NET 8 SDK installed, obviously, but this is all it takes to update to .NET 8. Whenever I do now, will get some warnings, some build warnings that I need to update some other things as well right here. So let's just do the full update to .NET MAUI 8, because we need to reference a NuGet package here again, .maui.controls. And I know from the top of my head, you could do this, right? So you can do MAUI version, and this will match the version of the workload that you have installed. If you want to use the latest available that is on NuGet.org, you totally can these days with .NET 8. You can just do 8.0.40 or whatever version is the latest on NuGet. I know at the time of recording this is the latest version. Duplicate that because we also have the .compatibility. There we go. And then this logging extension is probably also good to update that to 8. Okay, so we got all that. Actually, this little Maui XAML thing we don't need. So whenever something weird shows up, just remove that, save that, and boom. We have a fully updated project, which should now be on .NET 8. The one thing that I didn't update is the 49maui.bottom sheet. I'm going to do that in a second. This is how to do it all manually. If you want to do it through the NuGet Explorer, the NuGet Manager, you can totally can. So let's go back to the Solution Explorer, right click on your project and do Manage NuGet Packages. You can do it there as well. And you can see now under Updates that I have that bottom sheet left. Else you would also see the Maui packages in there, which is now 1.0.0 Alpha 4, but the latest available version is 8.0.3. So let's just do update, and it will update that to the latest package as well. It's about to do this. Yes, apply. I accept to the license, which is a MIT license. Make sure to read it, and you know all the implications there. And it updated the package. And whenever I go back to the CS Proj here, you will see that it updated this to 803. Now you also know, if you're using VS Code, how to do it manually, right? This is basically all the NuGet Package Manager does for you in Visual Studio. You can all do it manually. It's all contained in the CS Proj. So let's just save that. We have all of that. And actually, I think, oh yeah, there's the breaking changes, of course. So let's just build my project right here. And whenever we do, I switched like the whole version from .NET 7 to .NET 8. I updated a bunch of NuGet packages. So some weirdness is expected. There is some caching going on with the builds and stuff. So we might be running into something. Actually, it's not that bad. It just gives me the breaking changes that we just saw in the README. So let's go here to this error, and you can see it says, hey, show handle. That was when I recorded the video, the thing. Now it has to be like what was it again? I can't remember. So let's just do IntelliSense. Let me help with that. It's not show, it's handle. Has handle, that's it. So has handle is true, and show became show async. So you probably also want to do the await here, right? But the method isn't async one. So I guess we could do it like this, async, await, and now we have this. So, okay, this works. This is going a little bit fast if you want to set it up for the first time, right? So let me take it a step back. We installed the NuGet package. The first thing that you want to do now on your project is go to the Maui program and add this to your app builder. Use bottom sheet. If it doesn't bring in the right using statement automatically, you will have to add this using the 49 Maui bottom sheet. You will get this extension method, use bottom sheet, and that is the whole initialization, that's a hard word, to do on your Maui app. So we have that in place. And what you then want to do is create a new XAML file for the bottom sheet. So this is going to be the content that is shown in this bottom sheet right here. Created a new XAML file. Doesn't really matter which template you pick because you're going to replace the whole thing anyway. With this D49 bottom sheet, so you have to make sure that you have this XML namespace right here with this fancy URL that Paul came up with, which is a little nifty trick in .NET Maui. And then you can use this namespace right here with the bottom sheet type. And this is a specific type that knows how to be a bottom sheet, right? And then you have these detents, which says something about the anchors, like, hey, can I drag it to full screen? Can I only get it to halfway inside of my view? We'll see that in a minute as well. And then here you can just specify the content. So I have a vertical stack layout with a label that says, did you like and subscribe yet? I can't remember why I put that in there. Maybe there is a YouTube channel that you want to like and subscribe, or a video that you want to like. Curious. So you can put any content in here that you want, right? And I gave it a background with light gray, and also these detents. Actually, the other thing, so the has handle, you can do that here as well, right? Because this is the actual bottom sheet. So I can say has backdrop, has handle, and you can set the handle color nowadays. So that's all stuff that you can do from right here as well. I did it in code, but you can do that elsewhere. And of course, like the padding, which probably looks a little nice if you have this bottom sheet, depending on your design, you can give it a little padding, and you can do all the things here. So this, let's build it again. Now there shouldn't be any build errors anymore. So let's build it again. And I should be able to now just run this on my Android emulator again and for iOS, obviously. And I did it just before this demo, of course, just to prepare a little bit. And it now looks much better already. It doesn't have the weird transparent background. It did some more things. So this should just deploy to my Android emulator and then look a little nicer just by updating it to the latest version. Okay, so the build succeeded. Now let's see if I can deploy it to my Android emulator. It should come up any second now. And again, it's going to show you the same application that we saw before. Actually, I didn't show you this, so I skipped over it a little bit fast. This is just, well, actually, this is now the old template. We have a new template for .NET 8, but this is the old file new .NET MAUI template. And here in this button, which should typically increment a little value, we now show this bottom sheet, right? So the way to do that is say, hey, var page is new my bottom sheet because I created a new my bottom sheet page, right? So I'm going to actually initialize that thing here, which is called my bottom sheet, which actually implements this bottom sheet thing right here. And then I can create a new one from that. I can say has handle yes or no. And then I'm going to say, hey, I want to show that async in this window. And a window is a property that comes from this main page. It is implemented in any page that you use in .NET MAUI, and that will give you like the instance of the actual window that this page is showing in, right? So it will show on the right window because .NET MAUI is now multi-window, so you can show it on other windows, other pages, all that kind of stuff. But this is kind of like your typical scenario that you want to do. And whenever we get back here, you can now see, hey, boom, this looks a lot better than it did before, right? And this it's cancelable, right? So I can drag it down and it will go away and it will come back up and it goes full screen because I set that detent to be only full screen, right? I can add other ones here to say like, hey, I want to have the 49, I want to have it an anchor, or I want to content detent, which is like it adapts automatically to the content that is in here, or a certain height, or just a medium detent, right? And you can say like, hey, which one is the default? So I can say this one is the default because you can have this whole collection here, which is going to be the supported detent. So all the one that you can kind of like drag it to and it will stop at certain places. And I'm going to say, hey, this medium one is going to be the default. That is what it's going to use, but I am also able to drag it to full screen. Now let me build it again real quick. I'm not sure if I deploy, if it only deploys or actually rebuilds the full version. So let me quickly build the version again and then deploy it again to Android. And you can see how this behaves differently. So if I deploy this again, you will see that whenever I click the button now, the default will be medium. So I expect it to go to kind of like halfway or a quarter of the screen. And then I can drag it to full screen if that's what I want. And because like cancelable is the other property, right, or is cancelable, because I set that, or because it has the default value, see, there we go, and I can drag it to full screen, see, and I can drag it back. And because is cancelable has the default value, which is true, I can drag it a little way down and it can go away. But if you set that to false, then you know, you're stuck with it and you have to either programmatically cancel it somehow or do some other thing that you want to do. Because we also have that dismiss async, right? So there's all this. Now, one thing that you might have noticed is that the handle was not showing, right? So let's fix that for Android. For iOS, I think it works perfectly, but for Android, even if I set here the page.handle color, and you can see there's a lot here, right? You can see like if I do handle, you can see like handler change. Oh, this is actually from .NET MAUI. But there's all kinds of events here like, hey, was it shown? Was it dismissed? See, was it dismissed? So there is a lot of stuff that you can shown and showing that you can hook into to kind of like, you know, make this your own and integrate it inside of your application nicely. But I want to show the handle color and is colors.red. Let's just make it something obvious, right? That you can see straight away. Now, if I would run this again, you wouldn't see it. And it might be a bug. I'm not really sure what the reason is here, but it seems like a sort of bug, but it also has to do with like the Android theming right here. So let me just really quickly show you that it really doesn't work, and then go to actually fix it. So the application is coming up. Then I'm going to click the button. And you still don't see it, right? You don't see the handle, which is supposed to be on top here, and it's supposed to be red, but it's not here. So if we go back to the README, Paul actually says like, hey, you need to add this thing for Android in a certain styles.xml. It seems kind of weird, and again, I don't really know why this is happening, but it worked. So let me just show you. So what you want to do is go into Platforms, Android Resources Files, and create a styles.xml. It's not there by default, but we can do it. And I don't know if this is really going to mess with like any other styles or things that you have on Android, but I'm going to show you Platforms, Android Resources. There is already values color. So this is there by default. It has a couple of colors that are specific to Android, but we're going to create add new item. This is the new Visual Studio quick create item thingy. You can also do show all templates, and that will bring you back to like the old dialog for this, or show the compact view. And I can do here styles.xml add. And I'm just going to paste in the content that Paul suggested here for us, but it still didn't work for me. And what happened is Visual Studio was trying to be smarter than me. It's not, right? Visual Studio does a lot of things. It's very smart, but it's not smarter than me, okay? So we go back into the Solution Explorer, go to your project right here, and then what it did do, and of course, oh, there we go. See, it says like, hey, I added this styles.xml. I can see it's supposed to be an Android resource, but I'm going to remove it, and this means it's not going to do anything with it. So I just have to remove this node because we want that XML file to be processed, right? So remove that node, it's not needed. Build your project again, and whenever you do, you're going to deploy it. And now if you don't set a custom color, then it's just going to show the handle in the default color. But if you did set the color, then it's going to show red in this case, right? So this makes the little handle on the top of your bottom sheet show up for Android as well. I'm going to deploy this to Android, and you can see that this little handle works, and then we'll move on to add that Blazor hybrid project as well. So this is deploying to Android. Here we go. It's coming up. Debugger is connecting. And now we'll see the same application. And if I click the button, the bottom sheet will come up again. And you can now see that red handle right here. So this gives you a little bit of an indication of that you can drag it, right? It's little user experience thingy that we got right here, and we can still cancel it, right? So this now all looks good. That is how to fix that little bug. So now let's move on to the Blazor hybrid project. So I'm going to go to my Solution Explorer, right click on the solution level, and say add new project. That was the one I was looking for. And I already have it here in my recent project templates, .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. If you don't have it, just search here for Blazor hybrid, and it will show up here, .NET MAUI Blazor hybrid app. Click next, and I'm going to name this MAUI, what did I call the other one? Bottom sheet hybrid sample. There we go. So that's a nice project name. Next, framework .NET 8. Yes, that is the stable latest version at the time of recording. And now I have this hybrid application here as well. So let's switch to that project to be our starter project, and let's set it to the Android emulator right here. And I'll just deploy it. I'm sure that you've seen a default Blazor project before, but just to show you what it looks like and what you can expect here if it wants to run. And while we do this, let's just take a step further. So here we have this extra project. This will all be in the sample repository, the link down below in the video description. What we need to do is obviously install the NuGet package on this as well. So because this is a new project, this is already .NET 8 out of the box. I don't need to do anything for that. I can't right click do manage NuGet packages right now, but I can do it from here. I can cheat a little bit. So here you can see all the packages, and actually let me just copy it from this one right here so that we have the right one. So I can just copy this line, take this one, copy that, go to the CS proj for my Blazor hybrid application and install that right here. So this has a couple of extra things. So you can actually see the MAUI version right here, right? So I could update that, but I'll just leave it in place for now. So I have this one, the MAUI bottom sheet is installed. Then I need to do the same thing for that MAUI program. So now you can really see how to do this on a new project or on your project, right? And I can do use bottom sheet. IntelliSense is updating, so it doesn't know that I have this plugin already. Let me just do it right here. Use bottom sheet. You will add that here, and then I'll do using the. I think it didn't restore yet because I was actually building and deploying the application while I'm doing all this. I'm trying to hack around all of this to save us a little bit of time, but I shouldn't have done that, I guess. So I can just say d49.maui.bottom sheet. So now the debugger is coming up here and you can see the default. Yep, there we go. The default Blazor application right here, counter. You can do all of this. Actually, this is where I'll hook up my little bottom sheet right here and we can get the weather, right? So we got all that. Okay, you've seen that. This is the default template. Let's just stop and let's see if we can get this to work. So typically whenever I saved it, let's just do right click and restore NuGet packages. So it will restore all the packages right here and it will actually install it. And you can see now lighting up use bottom sheet and using D49 Maui bottom sheet. So this is all that's needed to initialize this thing. And the cool thing is I can actually just reuse the thing. So if I would take this my bottom sheet and put that in a separate project, I could reuse it. What I'm going to do now is just copy it and paste it into this project right here. And what I want to do is have it have the same namespace. So I'm going to rename this to namespace Maui bottom sheet hybrid sample. Here we go. And that means I also need to do that in XAML, right? So let's go to XAML right here and update this one. So that it's all in the same namespace. And now I'm going to use the exact same page right here that I can now also view from my Blazor hybrid application. So we got all this. You can see all the IntelliSense helpers are going away. I got all this. And what I can do now is actually go into a Razor page. So let's just go into components, pages, and the counter.razor. So this is the counter that you just saw. It increments a little thing. I'm not going to increment something, but again, I'm going to say, hey, var bottom sheet. I just called this page before. Let's call it bottom sheet right now. Is new my bottom sheet. You can see it picks it up. It's in the same namespace, so it can see it. Now I can say bottom sheet dot again like has handle yes or no is true. I'm just going to keep it the default color so you can see the default color on Android as well. Actually, it's probably going to have the same thing. I need to add that styles for Android again, but we'll see that in a little bit. And I can say bottom sheet dot show async. And I need to come up with the window. Oh, actually, it infers the window in this new version as well. So that's pretty cool. I can just say animated yes or no. So I can just do show async, and that's that. So if I deploy this again, it should just go to the counter page. We click the button, and instead of incrementing, I'm going to show this bottom sheet, which is now native .NET MAUI stuff, and that translates down to native Android stuff. And it's going to show that from my Blazor hybrid application. So here is where we can connect the two worlds. I can put all kinds of .NET MAUI controls inside of that my bottom sheet thing in XAML, or you can put the Blazor hybrid web view in there, and you can still do everything with Blazor there as well, right? So it's all totally up to you, but you can use that bottom sheet information. You don't have to go out and find a HTML, CSS, JavaScript control for you to do that. You can just do that with this .NET MAUI plugin. So the power is all yours. You can mix and match with however you want to do this. Okay, the application is being deployed. Here we go. The application coming up. The debugger is connecting. And then we can go through the collapse menu here in our Blazor hybrid application. Go to the counter page. There we go. And whenever I click the button, you can see that this bottom sheet is coming up again. Now you can see the handle, like I said, is not going to show up, but you can do like the full screen. You can bring it back, you can cancel it. And if you want to enable the handle, you know what to do now, right? So this is a nice exercise for you at home. And this is how to work with this very cool d49.maui.bottom sheet in your .NET MAUI application, but also in your Blazor hybrid application. All right, Paul, is this a great updated video or what? Now please stop making breaking changes so I don't have to re-record this again, because I don't want to turn this into the d49.maui.bottom sheet channel. Okay, great. So this video has been very full. I have been showing you how to update your .NET MAUI up to .NET 8, update this plugin, work through the breaking changes, show you how to make that handle show up on Android as well, and how to implement this bottom sheet in a Blazor hybrid application. Now, if that doesn't deserve a like on this video and a subscribe to this channel, I don't know what will, right? So, oh, you did it? Oh, thank you so much. Maybe you want to check out the first video that this originated from as well, where I show you from scratch how to set it up, and I'll see you for that one. Thanks for watching.